Skylar Weatherford with Mr. LaRue's agriculture class, and I'm here with Kathy Baker at the legendary E.L. Parton Ranch in Kissimmee, Florida. So you have a beautiful place out here. When was it established?
Well, my parents bought this is an island here more or less, and they bought it in the 30s. They built the house in 38, I believe it was, and it's part of the family. It's Daddy always liked the island part because of the soil and everything was good to grow everything here. Actually, I think they had a vegetable garden here at one time, and before Mom and Dad bought it. It's part of the whole, which used to be Henry O. Parton and Sons Ranch, which amassed many acres when I was that age.
A little bitty, yeah.
Yeah, and they split it up when my dad and his brother split up.
What kind of soil do you have out here? It looks more sandy.
Yeah, we have sandy soil, which is natural to Florida. There is a little more nutrients in this because we're closer to the lake, and you have a lot of that. Daddy never sodded this, so it hasn't had the sod lifted on it. It has a natural clover that comes up every year. You'll see it more in the lower places right now because we are so dry, but it looks like a small blanket almost when it gets really bloom, if it's real moist.
This is a tropical soda apple that you normally don't see in Oklahoma. You see it's got like these little fruits in there, and they've got little spikes on them, so they won't pop your tire, but they'd pop your foot.
That's an invasive.
It's illegal to transport these back to Oklahoma, so we're not going to be doing any of that. That'd be illegal. So, do you know how many acres you have in the whole?
This right here is about 110 or 15. This part here that goes down to the road. The ranch itself, when my grandfather started, it was probably in excess of 60 or 70,000 acres at one point in time. And of course they had a lot of lease land, and when they split it off, the ranch, which was my dad and mother's, had probably 6,500 acres total. We still have the big part of it in St. Cloud that belongs to the 5 of us kids.
Wow. So how does the cattle industry how does it have a direct impact on Florida's economy?
Well, this is what you call the birthing place of the cattle. They leave here and go out west to your fields and your big rye patches and things that they have out there to raise them, the cornfields and stuff. But this is where you have more cattle per acre, and you have more babies born here. You know, a lot more of them, and then they ship them out west.
So it's the birthing place, and then they just ship them out?
Yeah, once they get of age, they send them out to either when they're weaned, and of course we have a purebred operation that's here, so, and they go all over. My grandfather was the first person to ever bring Brahman cattle to Florida, east of the Mississippi, yes. So he and his sons, and my dad was the first man to bring quarter horses east of the Mississippi too.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how does science play a role in all this? How does it affect?
Well, your moisture. We don't have to use a lot of fertilizers here because we have a natural, with it being close to the waters, and that's a good thing for us. It keeps us from putting pollutants into the water itself, and it also usually, if you go a lot of other places, you won't see this much green. It'll be even worse, and it's pretty dry right now. It shows a brownness right now, so
it does look a little brown.
Yeah.
So you're more about cattle here than crops?
Right here, but we have had hay fields. We had across the road where all those pretty houses were that you came by.
Yeah,
that was one of our hay fields when I was a kid. I used to run along behind. It was the square bales. We put it up there years ago, and I used to laugh about it, but I took hay string and tied the hay string to my breeches and slid along behind the trailer when they were loading the hay on it and stuff. We've done that, and we had a big place down in the I was telling you about the 6,000 acres in St. Cloud, that we had we used to do rolled bales down there too.
So this is what your feed. AJ gave me a little piece of this.
All right, that's a pellet.
A pellet.
Yeah.
Is it a nugget or a pellet?
Well, pellets are small. These I just call them all pellets. But it's is that out of the bull feed or is that what you got from the heifers? That's the bull feed. Yeah. These calves here in the lot here. Is that what they're feeding them now?
I think so. That's what he gave me some of those.
Okay. Yeah, it's got all kind of stuff in it. I know that it's probably all natural because we have horses here, and something that's not all natural like that, it can cause them to have, it's got too much urethra in it, stuff causes them to have problems. So
now, before your grandfather got here and received the land, do you think this was all orange groves? Or?
No, I was told this was a garden. Now there was an orange grove on that little island over there across the way. When I was a kid, they would send a barge out over across where the fish camp is over there, and then they would load it.
Wow.
And but it's not there anymore. I'm not sure if I know that when Hurricane Charlie came through here, it decimated a lot of things. My mom and dad had a beautiful orchard out here: grapefruits, tangerines, murcots, blood oranges, all kind of things. And we were left with like 3 sour oranges. Everything else was wiped out totally. Well, we had avocados and several things, but we're slowly putting things back. But the citrus industry really got messed up. So, and one thing about us living like this, close to the lake like this, when we have the cold snaps, it doesn't affect us as much. When you're closer to the lake, you get your warmth and stuff off the lake and stuff.
So how big is that lake? It looks really
This is
really
Lake
big.
Toho. The Indian word for it is sleeping tiger. Because when we get a big storm or a lot of wind blows up, it has whitecaps all over it. But it starts right up here is the north end of it.
So it starts up there.
Yeah, and it goes down and makes a big curve and comes down, and actually our other property is on the east side, southeast side of the lake down there on the bottom end.
The last question I have, I think the kids would like this, is do the alligators or crocodiles, do the gators ever affect the cattle or anything?
Yes, we've had issues before. My dad used to have a few sheep on here, but the baby lambs were very.
So the alligators are bad for the.
The alligators weren't so bad. The little bitty ones, the eagles decided they wanted the baby lambs. The eagles decided they wanted them, and with us living like this with the water, they're here all the time. But the alligators, yes, one of the lambs, the bigger ones, I think it was a buck, went down. There's a perimeter dike that goes all the way around this thing, and he went down there, and we didn't see him for days. And then when he came back, he looked bad. And we've also had one of our yearlings, the bulls, coming 2-year-olds that had some scar on him. Ooh. And we've lost a couple calves, not a whole lot, but we have. And they're here. They're here everywhere you go. Alan's really good at calling them.
Come here, Daddy.
That ain't how you call them.
Well, thanks very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So here we are at the legendary E.L. Parton Ranch on the beautiful lake Tohopekaliga. I'm Skylar Weatherford for Mr. LaRue's agriculture class, and that's the way it is.
You see that bull's nose is crooked?
Yeah.
We're going to have to sell him. That's a genetic flaw. We wouldn't put him with none of our cows because some of his calves might develop that bent nose syndrome.
Just a few miles from the ranch is the Florida Cattlemen's Association. talk about all the different types of beef, and it's also home of the Florida Beef Council. Here's some more Florida agriculture. It's an old abandoned orange grove. As you can see, some of the HOA projects are starting to cut through some of the orange fields. Just think, a few years ago, that was probably all an orange grove. Most of the... Wow.
Is it loud enough?
It's loud enough.